Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight for our prayer meeting. So glad you could be with us on this chilly evening. Hope you're staying warm. Tonight we will start with our devotional from this book, Side by Side, that we've been going through together. And then we'll go to the Lord in prayer with those who are here and with those of you who are joining us online. The topic for tonight's prayer focus is thanking God for His goodness. So as we approach Thanksgiving, we want to spend our entire evening just praying and thanking God for how good He has been, even in the midst of how difficult life has been. God's goodness is all around us and within us if we are intentional and mindful of it. So stay tuned. In just a few minutes, we'll go to the Lord in prayer. Tonight, we are looking at chapter 9 of Side by Side, and it's called Having Thoughtful Conversations. As you know, if you've been going through this book, and even if you haven't, this book talks about how we are to live together in a community, in a church community, and we are called to walk side by side together. And so the two things he holds up is we are needy people and we are needed people. So we're needy. We need to recognize our neediness. We need to become more accepting that we are needy and share that neediness with God and with others. And that really draws us out of ourselves. And then we are needed. God uses ordinary people like you and I to help each other grow in wisdom and in love. He doesn't just use super Christians or people that we think are much more advanced. He uses regular Christians to help each other grow in spiritual maturity. So we're in the section on being needed, what it looks like to be needed and how to do that, how to help people effectively. Last week, Pastor Jamie talked about greeting one another. So we want to draw near to each other, and it begins with the most basic level of greeting one another. Saying hello, smiling, stopping, and acknowledging others, especially those who are marginalized or those who we don't know, those who are guests, those who might be strangers to us. Now we're taking a step further. So this is taking it really slow. All right, if you're like kind of jump to the end, no, like we want to go step by step because we know this is a process, and so does Ed Welch. And so this chapter tonight is having thoughtful conversations. So it's not just seeing someone at church, seeing someone at work and saying, hi, what's your name? Or hello, welcome. It's taking a step further to having a thoughtful conversation. And what I love about what Elch draws out and what I have tried to practice in my life, and it's taken a lot of work and effort, is there's a key, a very important key to having meaningful, thoughtful conversations, and that key is this: asking good questions. Asking good questions. Let me see here. Questions. If you want to have a meaningful conversation, you need to be able to ask good questions. Good questions draw us closer to each other. They draw us closer to someone else, and they also draw a person out to us. So questions show that we care enough about them. That's us drawing near to them. And then questions allow someone to share their heart, to share their life. That's drawing them closer to us. Asking questions is an act of love and care. It really is. If you don't ask questions, if you kind of take stock of your life and you realize you don't ask people many questions, it may be because you have to take a hard look. Do you care about people enough to stop and ask a question? Because when you ask a question, you have to do what? You have to listen, right? You have to be willing to engage what they say, process what's in their heart. So asking questions is a key to having meaningful, thoughtful conversations. By the way, this is biblical. Did you know that even from the beginning of the Bible, God asks questions to draw near to us and for us to draw near to Him? You remember in Genesis 3 when Adam and Eve sinned and they're hiding and God is walking in the garden in the cool of the day, what does He say? Where are you? That's right. Does God need to know where they are? Is He really wondering, like, where did they go? No, what's He doing? He asks, where are you, as a way of drawing near to them and as a way of drawing them out to himself. It's an act of love and compassion and care that he asks that question. Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree that I commanded you not to eat? All these questions are a way of God drawing near and inviting them to draw near to himself. If you look at the ministry and life of Jesus, he modeled the same exact thing. Time and time again, sometimes it's almost like, Jesus, answer a question, but instead he's always asking a good question, a poignant question, a thought-provoking question. You know, some guy comes up to him, good teacher, and immediately he says, why do you call me good? Or, what is the greatest commandment in the law? And Jesus responds immediately, well, you tell me which one is the greatest. How do you read it? Right? To the paralytic at the pool in Bethesda, he knows he's sick, he knows he wants to be healed, and yet what is Jesus' first words to him in John 5? Do you want to be healed? Do you see? Jesus draws near to people with his question, and he is inviting them to draw near to him. Who do you say that I am? That's what he asked his disciples. Who do people say that I am? And then who do you say that I am? Asking questions is essential to thoughtful conversations and essential to meaningful relationships. And I believe every one of us has room to grow in our ability, in our skill, right? Because we are learning how to be Christians who are needed, right? How to be good Christians, faithful Christians who know how to come alongside and walk side by side. If you're thinking, why are we talking about this? Because we need to have good conversations, meaningful conversations, if we're going to actually help each other. So if you're not good at asking questions, or maybe you are good, you still need to grow. I still need to grow in asking questions. So this is the simplest way. We could go even deeper, but first level of questions would be kind of basic questions. These are questions that you ask of someone when you are just trying to get basic information, right? What's your name? You meet someone at church, you haven't met them before. Last week, you greet them. Welcome. It's so nice to see you. My name is Mark. What's your name? It's a simple question. And maybe they just say, Bill. And you say, welcome. That's great. Nice to meet you, Bill. And you move on. That's okay. That's okay start. But you could take it deeper. Other basic questions. Where do you work? Where are you from? Are you new here? I ask these questions many times for people in church on Sunday morning or wherever I'm around people who are new. I'm quick to ask them, where are you from? Are you new here? Have you been here before? Right? Just simple, basic questions. And maybe the conversation doesn't go anywhere, or maybe it stops there, and then you have to move on, right? You're in the hallway, you're getting to service, and that's it. But that's okay. It's a good start, because you might see Bill again. And you can say, hey, Bill, right? I met you last week, or I met you 2 weeks ago. That's great. Remind me again, do you work? Are you new in the area? Where do you work? You can start with basic questions. Then you'd want to take it to deeper questions. Again, we could break this down even further, but I'm trying to simplify this for us. Deeper questions get more to the heart of the matter, right? Are you married or single? They told you about where they work. I work for the government, or I work as an engineer, or I'm a teacher. Oh, do you like your job? Do you like where you work? Now it's not just the basics of, I do this, it's, what do I think about what I do? Tell me about your children, right? If you have a parent, you know they want to talk about their children. They enjoy sharing about their children. Okay, how about a simple one, but it's a deep question. How are you? How are you doing? And sometimes, and Walsh draws this out, sometimes you can say, how are you doing? Good. You? Good. Great. Have a great day. That's not what I'm talking about. You might say, how are you doing? And they might say, good. And you could even just pause and say, how are you really doing? All of a sudden, that's different, isn't it, right? There's a sense of, oh, you actually want to know. You're not just passing me by in the hallway and you're just saying hello. You're stopping, or you're here, or you're outside, or you're at work, and you're saying, how are you really doing? You are inviting, again, you see? That's you drawing near them because you show you care, and you're inviting them to draw near to you because now if they're willing, they can share their heart. They can share how they're doing in some way. Here's what Welch says about basic type questions. He says on page 81, these are fine questions, but like appetizers before a good meal, we don't want to get filled up on them because they ask for nothing personal. Good conversations go a little further. What's your name? Where do you work? Are you new here? That's fine. That's all very helpful. Often you have to start here. Most people are not ready for this right away. Come on, let's be honest, right? If someone were to come up to me, I've never met them before, and they ask me, "How are you really doing?" My name is Mark. What's your name? What's your name now? Great. Let's start here, okay? Let's start with why are you even here at work? What do you even do here? I've never met you before, right? You're my neighbor. How long have you lived here? I want to know that before I tell you how I'm really doing, right? So basic questions are like an appetizer. It whets your appetite for something further. It's important. Appetizers are valuable. They play a role in a meal, but they're not the main course. You could stay here all day. So these are important, he says, but if you just stay here, then you could spend your whole life on the surface and never get deeper, never get into the main course. Here's what he says about the deeper questions. How do you know what are some deeper kinds of questions? And here's the key to deeper questions. Follow the affections. You want to know how to engage someone on a deeper level, how to draw out what they're going through, what their life is about. You want to follow their affections. Here's what Welch says about that. We hope to learn what is important to the person we're talking to, which is another way of saying that we hope to hear what is on his or her heart. The way in is to listen for what is dear, what is loved, what is feared, what is hard. We listen for how someone feels. You follow the affections. Where do you work? I work in an office building. I work in the finance department. Great. How do you like your job? Oh, now you're wanting to know how I feel about it. Now you're wanting to know, am I fulfilled in it? Am I satisfied in it? Well, actually, my boss is always getting on me. Or actually, I'm up for a promotion and I'm scared that I might not get it. Or actually, they're making cuts in my department and I'm not sure if I'm on the chopping block. You follow the affections. And by learning and he has a bunch of questions that you could ask here. And then he says this, which I think is helpful on page 82. We keep our ears open for details that are important to someone. This may sound clinical, but it's not. Right? For us to talk about questions, maybe even to learn some specific questions to use in situations, you may sound, that's clinical, right? This is too mechanical. People say that when we did EE or when we learned how to share the gospel. Oh, that's too mechanical. I'm not going to have a canned speech. Okay, it's fine. Maybe it is. But actually learning a gospel presentation is not meant to be mechanical or clinical. It's meant to free you up so you can know how to share the gospel in a very calm and fluid way so that it frees you up to focus on the person. You don't have to think, what do I share next? What do I say next? You've already kind of thought through how to explain the gospel. Now you can focus on what the person is saying to know how to share the gospel in an effective way, how to love them well, how to draw their heart out. Same way with having thoughtful conversations. You're looking for questions that will draw their heart out so you can know how to help them. This isn't just about drawing out questions so that you can hear, oh, that's helpful information. I'm going to write that down so I can keep a book about what I've learned about people. No. What is the point of this? Why have thoughtful conversations? So that we can know how to better love people. So that we can know how to better serve people. So that we can know how to better help people. And where Ed Welch lands in this chapter, it's a very simple application. His last couple paragraphs in this chapter are, why do you go through this? What's the goal? So that you can learn to pray for each other well. If I've met someone and I've gotten their name, maybe where they work, about their family, and maybe they said something about their children, and I picked up on just a twinge in their voice when they talked about their youngest child. Now I can ask about that child. What did you say was going on with your daughter, Amanda? Oh, well, actually, she's having trouble with schooling online, and she's not getting the concept. She's falling behind, and it's really hurting us. It's a burden on us. Well, it's not just information now. Now I can know. I can pray for Bill and his daughter Amanda, that she would be able to focus in school, and maybe I know ways that I can come alongside and support him. At the very least, I can let Bill know, hey, I'll be praying for you and your daughter. And then if I see him again, hey, how's it going with your daughter? How's she doing at school? I've been praying for you guys. You see, there's just one more step in deeper conversations, deep, meaningful relationships. Why? Because we're wanting to walk side by side together. So here's your assignment this week. Ready? I want you to ask a basic question of someone this week. Whether it's at church, so someone you don't know, or someone at work, or someone in your neighborhood. Ask a basic question, which probably means you don't know them. What's your name? Where do you work? Are you married? Do you have family? And then, number 2, I want you to ask a deeper question of someone this week. Ask a question that draws out something. Tell me more about your children. How are you really doing? How did you handle that divorce? Ask a deeper question. Ask a basic question and ask a deeper question. And let's take those things to the Lord in prayer. Let's engage spiritually vertically with what we're learning and growing with each other horizontally. Okay.